Well, it's actually not that complicated. The entire history of Djibouti can be explained in just 3 minutes. Let's go. Djibouti has been inhabited by Afroasiatic-speaking people since at least the 4th century AD, but for most of its history, we do not really know much about it until the 15th century, when Arab and Persian sailors started trading along the coast. They would trade things like ivory, gold, slaves, and incense. And because it was such a strategic location, the Ottomans would also come to rule over the area in the 16th century. Then in the 1800s, European powers started to colonize Africa. So the French and British fought over who would get Djibouti. At first, the French were winning. In 1883, they had defeated the Turks and taken control of the area. But then in 1894, the British took it from them after they made a treaty with Italy, which gave them control of the Ethiopian Somali region, which bordered Ottoman Somalia. Then, in 1941, Italy would try to take back control of Djibouti during the Second Italo-Ethiopian War. But after they lost the war, they would lose Djibouti to the British. Finally, though in 1960, after both France and Britain left, Djibouti would declare independence and become a republic. Unfortunately, they would soon have to fight a war with their newfound independence. The two biggest cities in Djibouti, Djibouti City and Tadjoura, had been occupied by Ethiopia during the Djibouti-Ethiopian War. After the war, they would occupy Ethiopia for a while, but eventually had to withdraw. Then soon after in 1977, another war would break out between Somalia and Ethiopia, so Djibouti would side with Somalia in this conflict, which led to Ethiopia occupying parts of Djibouti. This occupation would last for 4 years until 1981 when it finally ended. Then in 1991, the long dictator ruler Hassan Gould Abtidin would be overthrown and replaced by a more democratic government. Then in 1999, Djibouti would experience its first ever cyclone, which caused massive damage to the country. Then in 2004, a devastating tsunami would hit the coast of Djibouti, causing even more damage to the already struggling country. Then in 2006, fighting would break out again between Ethiopia and Somalia, so Djibouti would once again side with Somalia, which led to a massive influx of refugees into the country. Then, in 2009, fighting would break out again, this time between Eritrea and Ethiopia, so Djibouti would once again side with Ethiopia, which led to yet another influx of refugees. Since then, Djibouti has become a major hub for international aid organizations because of the amount of refugees that have entered the country. Also, it is strategically important, because it has one of the best locations for a port in the entire Indian Ocean. So many different countries use this port to import and export goods. Today, Djibouti is still suffering from the effects of the civil wars in neighboring Somalia and Ethiopia. And without help from international aid organizations, it would be very hard for the country to function. Its economy is heavily reliant on imports, which makes it very vulnerable to the global economy. If there is a recession or disruptions to the global economy, then this could lead to hyperinflation in Djibouti. And that's the entire history of Djibouti in just 3 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.